worked with Tom Hardy, you worked with Whitaker. What was it like working with these casts?
The camera was on me. It was my day to perform. The assistant actually called Mr. Forrest, maybe you can take a break. He said, no, Sonny needs my eyeline, man. That's like how gracious this you can get from an Academy Award winner. You know what I mean?
Like this show? Then rate it 5 stars and subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Uncool is a podcast by creatives at work. It is produced, written, and hosted by Sean Lee Win Chong and co-hosted by Yenling Lo, co-produced by Raven Lim, and edited by Ray Ng. Uncool. It's cool to be uncool.
Our guest today, which is Mr. Sunny Pang. He's cool because he's Singapore's action hero. He's an action director. But do you also know that he's done some very uncool shows? Because he's got credits from film and TV shows from Singapore, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Malaysia, UK. And he also has credits like Masters of the Sea.
Yeah, it's so cool. That's really cool.
I actually think that Masters of the Sea doesn't get enough credit. You know, it may seem very uncool now when we talk about it in 2022 because you're looking at it in 2022 lens. We all know that there's a lot of comments about it, positive, negative, more negative than positive. But actually back then I think it's pretty cool, right? I mean, we had an English drama, like how cool was that? So, and of course, many of the cast members have gone on to do very cool things. But what exactly did you do on that show, Sunny?
Well, I was one of the stuntmen, but turned also an actor as well. So basically, I was a drug trafficker, got caught by K Tong, and K Tong just tossed me into a pool of crocodiles and get fed.
You've been shot, stabbed, strangled, bludgeoned, all in a day's work for you, Sunny. So what is the most drama thing that's happened to you recently in terms of getting that sort of violence?
Yeah, well, I was supposed to get kicked and then fly to the wall and knock onto my back. A real kick, you know. So, because this is a movie that I made in UK, it's called Exile the Chosen One. It's already out on Amazon right now. In UK, some of the European countries and other countries. Unfortunately, Asia, not yet. They might be thinking of release. So, on that scene itself, this guy called Nick Khan, who actually is supposed to be a Russian in a way. I mean, he's also right now officially one of my Ronin guys as well because he wanted to learn some stuff from about action. So it's supposed to be kicking me directly on the chest, right? So on 1, 2, 3, I just say, you just kick because I'm protected. Don't worry, I know how to handle all this pressure before. So as he kicked the first kick, instead of kicking me, he scraped my nipple. I pretended, what the hell are you doing, man? I was just like, oh my god, man, what the hell are you doing?
Sunny, I'm very curious to know, right? If you were to go and dig out your old school report cards from back when you were in school, what would it have said about you?
Rascal.
You're always that one in the class, is it?
Well, you know, back in primary school, I'm not like a bully. I like to disturb people, make people laugh as well. You know, I will, during back in the primary school days, I remember there was this kid who actually like maybe I was primary 6, he was primary 3. I make him cry. I was so apologetic after that. So during those days, those drinks was 10 cents, 20 cents, right?
Yeah.
So he paid for 10 cents, I paid for 20 cents. I look at him like as if that I'm going to eat him. I would say, see what? One die. Then he started crying. Oh, very loud. I said, I was just joking, man. Then I was brought up to my teacher room, and then after my vice president come over, smack me on my head. So I just look at sorry, I'm just joking, man.
No, I thought it'd be something very different. I thought maybe Sunny was going to shock us by saying like, oh, actually, in school I was a head prefect or something. And I'll be like, what?
No,
but no surprises
I'm
there.
a rascal, man.
No
I'm
surprises.
a rascal, yeah.
But did you always dream though that you will be in film and doing stunts and all that, or it's really an accident?
No, I'm a big comic fan. I love comic book. I love Chinese comic book at first. Then after that, I go into DC and Marvel comic book. I even draw my own character. I create my own character as well.
Also, you always wanted to be a comic artist and not so much a stuntman. You just sort of fell into it.
Yeah.
He always wanted to do action genre, man.
Yeah, I love action. My first movie was Jackie Chan. What do you call it? Snakes.
The one where he's iconic one. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, that was one of my first films because my brother brought me to Bendemeer there to watch it. I remember. No, my father, yeah.
How did you get to being such a legend?
No, I'm not a legend. Well, I never planned all this at all because I was, after national service, you got nothing to do. So I was working in the 7-Eleven selling Slurpees. I during that time there wasn't any safety camera, so sometimes I just steal things and eat. Hey man, it's for free. What the hell, man? They only pay you like $2.50 an hour. They back then.
Back then 7-Eleven was
$4.50
very
an hour?
low. Yes.
Yeah.
I think people talk about McDonald's, but people didn't talk about 7-Eleven, and they were very,
Oh, no,
very
man,
low.
that's
They were
crap, man.
crazy low.
So my brother that time, back in the 90s, will have a company that hired people to do extra on TV shows and on Channel 8, on Channel 5. So my brother just pulled me along and said, hey, come, get some work done, be on TV. You look okay, not very handsome, but, just probably might get your chance. So I went in and the people, the producer, the AP, kind of liked my attitude, just asked me to go back there on and off again. So I just being like almost like an extra with lines. So with lines, and I did that. So then in a couple of years, but then again, I decided to go back to work in the office, work in my sister's, brother-in-law's travel agency as a ticketing sales agent. But during the weekend, I got nothing to do, just pop into my stupid outfit and go into MediaCorp or SBC back then to act. I was in martial art as well during that time. One day I was just preparing for my match, stretching, and then I got spotted by a stunt director from Hong Kong who's that time working in Singapore, right? And that's my first sifu. So he said, hey, brother, hey, you know a little bit of martial art? I said, yeah, I do some traditional Chinese martial art and Chinese kickboxing and boxing. I used to be in boxing as well. Say, hey, come over and we need people help. So I joined them for a bit of training and I become a stuntman. And that's how it begins. Yeah.
So it's a background in what you said, like martial arts and all this. Is it like a requirement to be a stuntman?
I think it's a plus point to have because usually in Asia, right, it's all about fighting. That's our trademark. Yeah, it's one of the trademark. And during that time, our training was, even though it looks simple, but it was still kind of hard. Not like right now, you 1 hour workout and that's it, you move on. No. Everything have to be very specific. The way you kick, the way you do your horse stance, the way you punch, all these things are very, required detail of your movement. Yeah, that's one of the basic, and maybe because the way we do it was so in detail, so I got selected. Not everybody would actually got picked on, because the way I kick, I did practice my kick a little bit, so he saw. Before my injury, my kick was very high. After that, when my injury, my kick went really low.
Oh no! What injury was that? What happened?
I torn my hamstring at least 4 to 6 times. Then I torn my calf as well. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! But how do you stunt professionals manage all this risk because every day, every shoot you're going in, there's more or less a risk you're taking, right?
You are taking on the risk for the actors, basically, right?
Yeah. So,
yes.
How do you actually manage that?
Well, the thing is just that we are taught this way, right? There was one time that I was doing my first jump from fourth story all the way down to the first floor with crash mats. I was supposed to jump onto the cut boxes in the first floor, right? So I keep looking at the floor and I say, and I'm going to do this with explosion, but not crazy one, but crazy enough for me to just jump. So my stunt director, Pan Xiang, his name, he said that look at the point where you want to jump and just go down, look at where you want to jump and just go for it. Don't think so much. The more you think, the more you're going to sustain injury because you're doubting about yourself. So that's how the way we manage our stress. Okay, jump. One, rolling, action, jump, boom, boom, that's it. But after that, you feel like, hey, that was quite fun. So, boom, on 1, 2, 3, action, jump, boom. You can hear the sound, boom. You can feel the whole thing vibrating and then just landed down. Just, holy crap, that was a rush.
I can imagine. That's actually a very unique experience that really, really not a lot of people, I don't think they want to feel as well. But the fact that you are doing it in a very safe space, as safe as it can be, I think that's a unique experience.
Yeah, it might look safe sometimes, but sometimes if you don't aim it properly, like one of my friend who actually landed on just side of the corner of the boxes, and but then again he was safe. He wasn't really crashed through down to the floor, but he just crashed and then saw like slight roll and then landed on the floor, which is he already reduced the impact by about at least about 80%. So it's pretty much okay. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, that's can be crazy.
Then of course the other risk is the other guy doing the stunt with you, like he may kick your nipple or something.
Yeah, well, that's a different thing, man.
It's less dramatic, but still very cool. I'm not talking about stunt, I'm talking about sponsorship and collaboration opportunities available with the Uncool podcast. We're super excited and would love to tell you more about it, so drop us an email at contact@creatives@work.asia to find out more.
Since you've been doing stunts since for about 20 years, since the 90s, right? Has the craft changed?
Yes, the craft changed pretty much a lot. The way we do stunts right now, like me and my team, but because I was trained by I met my second Sifu, which already evolved quite a lot. But he's actually from Hong Kong as well, but then he's stationed at Indonesia. Of course, there are certain ways they're still using very old school ways, like we choreograph on set and then we fight on set. But after that, I sort of like he always tell me this: you need to evolve, right? You need to evolve in a way that how the newer generation filmmakers or stunt people evolve. So you need to learn those newer things. So which I did, and he also taught me as well a lot of things. So in a way that right now we're talking about when you do fight choreography or stunts, right? For my team, my protocol is always we will research, design, and discuss with everyone first before we even do execute the move, because I don't want them to sustain any injury. Like one of my guys actually sustained an injury he doesn't know, right? We train and train and train, but then again he was knocked down by a car and flew. It really literally flew, and he landed down. He was fully padded, yeah, and he didn't realize his wrist was fractured. After 2 weeks, then he discovered he can't really move. Then he called me, hey, I think it's around 11:30 in the close to midnight. I was almost sleeping already. He said, Sonny, yeah, what man? I'm trying to sleep, man. I broke my wrist. What do you do to yourself? Nobody broke the wrist at this point of time, in this time, right? Well, what happened to you? And they say, oh, because of the fall. Oh, I say, holy crap. It's a fracture, yeah. It's a hairline fracture. It's crazy, yeah.
So for 2 weeks he's just walking around and he didn't even realize that.
Wow, his pain tolerance must be super high lah.
Yes. I think right now there's a trend of mixing between CGI and real stunt work, because the real practical effect and CGI. Because a lot of people have been complaining sometimes it's just way too much of CGI rather than the actual stunt work itself. That's right now, I think that it does evolve, but something that let's just say we cannot do, will probably require CGI to do. But something you just need the practical effect for the stuntman to do it, and not the capture for the computer to capture and make it a little bit more, or maybe composite into the frame itself. So that's how it evolves. Like the one I can explain to you, like how, remember everybody watched Iron Man, Remember the first time when Iron Man tried to fly, right? He pressed onto the damn button and it flew backward and hit onto the wall, right? Okay, that one was actually a practical effect. A real stuntman got whacked onto the wall.
Wow.
But in a way that the way they do it is just a lot more safer, because they are the wire works and everything are much more sophisticated, powered by machines rather than human pull. So all the calculation has to be very, very accurate. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
tell
making
you
it safer nowadays,
Yes.
basically with
make
the
it safer,
technology.
but sometimes things can go the other way around. Like we're talking about the one in Mina Jonovic, Resident Evil, the lady who actually lost the limbs and everything. Certain things you just cannot take risk.
But for you, right, I'm just quite curious about this whole industry. It is in the media industry, which we are in as well, but it's so niche and not many people do it in the first place. And somehow, because you're Asian martial arts, as we've seen in the past few years, it's something that I think in other parts of the world, it's very, very well received. It's very popular nowadays. Like you mentioned in the beginning, you went all the way to UK to film a series as well, right? Or a movie. It's a movie. Yeah. So how big is this industry right now?
This industry is actually still big in a way that action will always be one of the best selling genres, but also that right now is sort of like it merges with storytelling as well. It's very important as well. So if your character decided to written down as this way, it has to be this way. Whether you're martial arts or not, it's what we are trying to sell is the realism of it. How real can it be? Like the fight scenes, or maybe you want to do like Marvel fight scenes. If you notice, like Shang-Chi was one of the example of like how big it is. It is actually very, very huge.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like finally, there's like Asian kung fu superhero kind of thing, right? In the Western world, yeah. But you see, that's the thing where a lot of people, when they talk about action films are huge, but they always talk about actors, stunt guys, or something that are always sort of by the way. They'll talk about it, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, do you know it was a stunt guy?" At the same time, yeah. And there are not many people doing it in Singapore and in Asia, so right.
Yeah, so actually, what is the reality of a stuntman in Singapore, actually?
The reality of stuntman in Singapore, it's you have to prepare to be a freelance. Okay, that's one thing. Second, you have to be fully trained properly, not by some new kids on the block or something like that to tell you that he do a bit of stunts, and that's it. You won't become a stuntman. First of all, we're talking about a lot of safety issues. Third of all, you have to prepare to get injured, because whether you like it or not, okay, whether it's bumps and bruises, nothing is 100%. We can give you the safety aspect ratio at 90%. That is the safest we can get, right? The 10% is a gamble. So there is no guarantee. But then again, we will try to make it as much as we can to make sure that you will not get hurt. Fourth of all, check the data of the person that you learn from or you follow with. If the person who is just brand new or whatsoever, you have to remember that whatever you show outside out there, representations of what you looks like on screen, whether you like it or not. Okay, this is the core reality. Fifth of all, make sure you buy your own insurance. Okay, and it's not all. And the sixth is not every day there is a job, and you will definitely meet a lot of people, but your attitude has to be right. Because even though you have done some big stunts, like myself, I did some crazy stunts as well. Doesn't mean that you are a star. This is a job, and don't prepare to think yourself that you're going to be famous out of it. Oh, I know how to do stunts. Stunts is a wide scope of things rather than just, oh, I know how to fight, I'm a stuntman. No, fight is only part of it. Have you ever been knocked down by cars? I did. Have you ever jumped down from tall buildings? I did. Have you been jumped down with explosion? I did. Have you been rolled down the hills and get knocked down by a vehicle at the same time? I did. Have you get fire extinguisher hit on the face? I did. Okay. Have you crashed through a mirror? I did. Okay. Have you do a stunt that nearly severed your shoulder? I did. So it's just that, and I fight next to fire. Yes, I did. All those kind of things those are wide scope of our experiences, expertise. So that doesn't make me famous, though. That made me the experienced guy. Have you understand that how to deal with fire stunts? Okay, I did. So all these things are very, very important facts of that experience do counts, and it's not about fame. At the end, it's a job. It's what you like, because I'm a adrenaline junkie myself. Still, I felt that it's just that, wow, it just challenged me, It's not just that, oh, how beautiful my form is. No, it's not that. It's about, when you do all these things, so fun. And when during those days, we actually shoot gun for real. They're blanks, right? You can hear us all, pum, pum, pum. I can tell you this, man. The smell of gunpowder smells like perfume everywhere. It is crazy, but then again, it's just so nice to smell it. It's just, oh, I love the gunpowder smell in the morning. That's what I did. in Havoc as well. So I did fire about 500 rounds within the day itself.
Wow, 500
Yes,
rounds. Wow.
yes.
All
And
in a
it's so
day's work,
fun, man.
personally.
Oh, I love it, man. So I shouted very loud, "Oh, I love the gunpowder smell, man. Let's get me some more perfume."
So on this note about the realities of a stuntman in Singapore, are there any differences in the career opportunities between male and female stunt performers?
Well, right now, on my team, I have female stunt performers as well. Of course, they are being trained properly and, right reactions and so on. Their opportunity is not really a lot, but we slowly right now seeing that the women's are getting the job as well. And I also encourage women to train properly to do this kind of work. And sometimes I even mix them with the guys to fight alongside with the guys to fight the hero, because I think that there's not enough of opportunity for them. So why not we make opportunity? Sometimes the directors or the producers say, "Oh no, girls shouldn't be the bad." But it doesn't matter. It's a job. They want to do this because they want to experience that kind of adrenaline as well. So why are you stopping them? Even last year, there was this TV series called Key Witness. One of my SWAT team members is actually a woman.
They also have other jobs as well, you're saying, because
Yes, in Singapore, unfortunately, it is a cold reality. You got to have another job to support yourself because it's not an ongoing thing. Before the COVID, we have quite a fair bit of jobs here and there. Yes, because that when I open up Ronin is actually not just provide jobs but opportunity as well, because I did say is that you never know where you're going to get you, right? So if he actually the director likes you or see you, you can act, or you're pretty or you're handsome, whatever it is, and wants you to act, then go ahead. So you open up the doors for people to grow. We don't believe in like controlling people. If let's just say other group needs stuntmen as well, they can do it as well, because I believe that that's what the olden days happens back in the 90s, 80s and 90s as well. Because back then is one of the golden time for Singapore TV station, especially in Channel 8, right? There was a lot of action TV series, if you notice. There was a couple of groups in Singapore, all run by Hong Kong stunt directors, which they are very cool. And do you know that there was one time my first sifu received a phone call. Then after he called, he turned to me and said, "Hey, Sonny, later can you go over the other group and help them out?" But I said, "But Sifu, I actually under you. You don't want to make money." "Oh, yeah, okay." So this is how the way they actually want you to make money as well. So the same thing as what my first Sifu has been done. So you wanted them to move around to do whatever it is. Don't always stay in one place. Yes, we train them. Yes, I train them. Even for my girls, sometimes they do some other things as well, some other jobs as well. Acting or stunts, doesn't matter. I always tell them to protect yourself, to be safe, and make sure your co-actors are safe as well. So everybody's on the safe spot.
So basically, you want them to thrive in that environment,
Yes.
whatever it is
Yes.
they're doing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And Ronin is about 10 years old now. You just had your 10th anniversary then.
Yes, 10 years old.
But can you tell us about a bit more about Ronin? How did you guys start out? And of course, within Ronin as well, you wear many hats, right? The action director, stunt coordinator, stuntman. Basically, how can you contextualize this role? Why is this role so important?
Well, it's all started from my second Sifu. He said, "Are you going to be an actor for your rest of your life, an action actor for the rest of your life?" So I said, I told him that, well, I've thought about it before. I think that maybe being a stunt director or maybe a fight choreographer could be one of the escape. He said, yes. Maybe think about being producer as well, because that's where you can't fight. You can't fight for so long, but you have to think about your family because you got kids and everything. Because he knows about my background and and the ideas, and he taught me a lot of things. So all thanks to him, Alip, that's my Sifu. So he's actually giving this idea and then actually helped me to formulate, kind of like teaches me how to formulate stunts. Look at scripts, look at directions, look at all his video. So basically, he just feed me all the information that I need within the short span of 3 to 4 months. So I followed him. So I learned from the best. He was from back in the 1970s, Shaw Brother time.
Wow.
That's how old he is. So that's how that's how I learn. And of course, I need to go through the grind, do a bit of stunts, learn about, follow him. Because he was in Indonesia, it was always very hot. So when he shoot, I'm there. Sometimes he asked me don't have to go because it's drama. And when he's on action, he even put me in some of the series scene as well. So he said, "Oh, don't do this, but do this." And he think really fast as well on set. So that's what I pick up as well, how fast the way he think. And then for wearing many hats, because like I said, it's still my seafood, So being an action director, I also come across being an actor as well. So I learned how to appreciate what the script says, but also at the same time that how can I make it a lot more better than in terms of the action. So I came up with a formula that, okay, let's look at the character bios. Every time when I come on set, I always look at the character bios, look at other information that I need. Then after that, I go back and think, okay, what kind of discussion with like yourself, Sean, I will discuss with you the action bits, what you want, or like this stunt, what you want. And then I came up with all that. Now, recently, there was this When Duty Calls too, right? We did everything, okay? MediaCorp Channel 8 hired us. We did all the action bits. And then some of the newer bits, like the guy really get knocked down by cars for real time, but it's actually the way to cheat it. So it was a kind of shocker when people see it, say, yes, that's the whole point. You bring audience to their edge of the seats. You don't bring audience, board them with just a simple action like what they've seen before. So when you shock them or just they're giving some pleasant surprise. So we're constantly trying to change something brand new, right? I mean, this is what I thought, but a lot of people hated it when I said it. I told them that I'm 50 right now. Another 5 more years, I want to retire back behind the chair. Everybody just give me the middle finger. So no. So I said that because I think that there will come a point of time you need to take a back seat. Let the younger generation to move up. Younger generation to move up, because that's why I nurture all my Ronin boys and girls. Slowly they're moving their stairs. I'm actually also directing a short film very soon, which is it's called Operation Overdose. It's going to be probably on YouTube in December, because I'm also trying to get my hands on directing as well. So you need to try a lot of things. Like I said, my seafood give me the thumbs up and say, go ahead. You need to understand the wide range of scope. And I always say this, it's not that I'm making millions and millions of dollars like Donnie Yen or other people, because you have to understand that reality in Singapore, it is as such, is this way, right? You need to understand that. Yes, I might be traveling to UK to do some jobs and whatsoever. People say that Havoc is a big production. Yes, it is a big production, but you never know what the future holds.
I was just wondering, when you started Ronin, it was just you. How big was Ronin then, and how big is Ronin today? And if you wanted to join Ronin, what would our listeners potentially have to do?
Ronin is start off with only 5 people. We train in a very not really, actually in a sports hall in Redhill, Delta Sports Complex, okay, with very minimum things that we have. So after that, it evolves throughout the years. Right now, we have over 20 people, 4 girls, 16 guys. So that's how big we have. I mean, that's not really huge. It's huge, because some of them can work, some of them cannot because they have full-time jobs, so on. Some of them are martial art advisor. I have a Krav Maga advisor, Muay Thai advisor, MMA advisor. I have all the people that I need is on my hands. It's on within the grasp of my hands, like my phone call. That's it. So yeah.
If I wanted to be part of your 16 or your 4 girls or your 16 guys, what do they need to do to prove to you that I'm serious about? I'm taking this very seriously. I want to be Ronin. Okay. For us right now, because we have courses that runs right now for people like actors or actresses want to learn about how to fight on screen. We do have those courses.
Interested in stunts? Did you know that you could potentially be part of the Ronin Action Group? Yep, that's right. With several cool courses like Basic Actor Screen Fighting, Stuntman or Woman Basic Entry, Precision Stunt Driving, and much more, you could be taking your first steps into this exciting industry. Drop an email to roninactiongroup@gmail.com to find out more. That's RONIN actiongroup@gmail.com.
Usually we accept people from coming knock on the doors, and then we sort of like talk to them and see what their intention is, and then they probably join the training. But right now, I think that it's best to open up courses for them to try it out for 6 months and see how far they can go. Because a lot of people comes in with the mindset of like, oh, I want to be famous. Can I do this for train with you for 3 months and I get famous? I was just like, huh? Yeah, we have that. I mean, that it's so weird that people come in, knock on their doors. Yeah,
That's the age of digital and social media, right? Everything is very instantaneous, right? It's like, hey, I put this on my YouTube, I get 100K viewers, and I know,
no,
hey,
no.
good,
Okay,
good for me.
the danger part of like people doing stunts out there for not knowing what the actually stunts is all about. It's just that either they get themselves killed or they broke fractured their bones. Because a lot of people are very naive towards these days, just thinking, oh, it's very funny. It's not funny. Get that, like there was one incident that I just recently, like 2 months ago, there was this incident of this boy in Indonesia or some other places tried to jump over a car, an oncoming car. But guess what? He was being knocked down and crushed to death. And we're just like, this is kind of thing that what I don't really like about sometimes about all this Instagram or maybe TikToks. It is sort of like people who does that is either stupid or dumb. They think that by copying it's not right. And people who just started out to like couple of years and start teaching people, that's like, huh? Are you serious, man? And recently in Singapore, there's one incident. There's somebody who only did very little stunts, who tried to become a stunt coordinator and get a stunt girl who did a stunt and torn one of the ligaments. And this guy just walked over to the director and talked to the director and not care of any of the thing about this girl. And the girl had to limp all the way out to get her own grab to go hospital.
What?
Yeah.
Good grief.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
and it's just like people can brush off their shoulder and just pretend nothing's happened. That's how crazy it is, man.
I can't
This
imagine.
is stupid, man.
On the
It's
note
really
of stupid. On the note of stupid, what is the stupidest thing that you've ever done, Sunny? I mean, in your life. I mean, stunt or otherwise.
Well,
Yeah.
they're not stunned. My pants drop off thanks to my friend pull me upside down. Instead of pull my leg, they pull my pants, and my whole genital was exposed. God damn it!
Okay.
Oh my
So,
god, I think we can have a whole episode just about all these kinds of like NGs from you, Sunny.
all things considered, it is very mild, a stupid thing as compared to if something really terrible happened. Like,
Yeah, it's stupid, man.
But I wonder as well, because you have a family, right? And then you raise them all the way. You were sharing with us just now. Your eldest right now is like ITE. Your youngest is still in school, secondary school. What do they think of it? What does your wife think of it? Of you being in this profession?
Well, I don't really do as much stunt as before, but of course sometimes it's required like on-screen fighting and get kicked in the face or get punched in the face. I'll probably, no problem, let's do it. But of course my wife is like, there was one experience I can tell you that back in 2011, okay, I did a movie called The Collectors from Malaysia movie, an action flick, my first action big role, right? So what happened was that I was getting slammed onto the floor for real, and my back sort of like shifted. The next day, when I go to one of the chiropractor, the chiropractor touched my back. My God, your back is completely shifted. So they realigned back. I didn't tell my wife, but after that, when I tell my wife just give me this. I say, okay, now look. Hey, just say, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. You see what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure just a couple of day rest.
what do you mean by my back shifted? Like, how can a back shift?
That means my spine, right, is straight, right? It's sort of like go this way a little bit.
Slanted a bit, yeah.
Slanted, shifted.
Oh my.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I go to a chiropractor, and when one is out of place already, it tortures me already. And then if your whole thing is out,
Yeah. So it's just like you didn't know because I don't feel a thing. I just when I got slammed that time, I would just completely black out, and they tried to pull me up, but I said, "Hey, don't touch me." I just then after I would just like completely lie down there, not moving. I completely cannot move. I thought I can't feel my back, but then again there was a bit of numbness. So it's just like okay. After a while, I tried to wiggle my toes, try to like move my muscle, my calf muscle. Then after I realized that okay, it's still there. Then after that, I try to wiggle my backside a little bit. It's still there. So on go and try to like lift up, but I can't get up. Then they slowly pull. I said slowly pull me up. So when they pull me up that time, I feel like oh nearly black out. So I hold on to them, hold on to the assistants, the people, the APs and everything. So I walked over and then said, give me 20 minutes and rest. And after that, I have to complete the fight scenes. Yeah, for the whole night itself.
Since we didn't mention your kids and all that, are your younger kids old enough to watch the shows on Netflix like Kill Fist and
They
like
watch
comes on
everything
as well?
actually. They watch everything. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Oh,
I allow them to watch. Yeah.
so how do they feel about watching you on screen doing all that things?
Well, but they're okay with it. They know it's just a movie. But because sometimes I play the antagonist, I play a lot of antagonists. I mean, I don't mind. It's just a job, right? So my younger one will say, I don't want you to play the bad guy. You are the good guy. I just like, it's just a job, Maybe one day I'll just play the good guy. It doesn't matter, just that, no, I want you to play the good guy, just, yeah, it's just a very heartwarming thing. And, I felt that, it's just a job. It doesn't affect me. As long as I put food on the table for everyone, I think it should be okay.
Do they ever was there ever a time where you came back maybe like bloodied, bruised, and then they're like, oh my god, Daddy, what happened?
I don't actually show. I don't actually show. Yeah,
Then
only
what
my wife will
happens
know.
if you're injured and then because you get punched in the face? How are you gonna hide that?
You can't see as well. I hide it very well.
Oh my!
It's a trade secret, Yan trade secret.
So along with learning how to like hide the fake hits and stuff, you also learn how to hide the real hits. Oh.
There was one time I got kick on the face of the jaw. Right, my neck was sort of like click a little bit. I felt it. So I felt my neck was something like sort of like shifted a little bit. Right? So I told my wife I feel something very uncomfortable. So I said I think I better go and see my chiro. So there was a bit of pain, but then again I take Panadol and try to hide it. They can't tell. I kicked for 3 times.
From this conversation, can conclude that Sunny and his chiro are very good friends.
Yes.
I think you give him a lot of business.
Yeah, very good friends. He has a loyalty card. He come 10 times to get the 11 session free.
He's very good.
Okay, Sunny, you do a lot of work as well around the region, right? And I think in particular Indonesia. Why Indonesia?
Well, I have to thank this man. His name is Asun Minwadi. He was the one who actually, and also Julia Fraser actually recommended me to Asun Minwadi, who is supposed to produce a movie together called Knife, but it didn't take off because of some complications with investors and so on. That's how I was being introduced in Indonesia, and some friends over in Indonesia recommending here and there. And one day there was one of my friend in Indonesia called Andrew Sulaiman. Andrew is a very nice guy. Introduced me to this Timo Chacanto. He actually was looking for a Chinese actor to play as one of the villain role in his movie The Night Come For Us, which was supposed to be early during that time back in 2013. So we have a chat and then, have a good chemistry. He wanted me to be in the movie because he saw some of the code of law. He watched it. He said, oh, yeah, okay, that was that's a very good performance. He liked my performance, see some of my things as well. So that's how I get to know by people. Even some of the actors who watch my stuff as well. So that's how I get spotted. Yeah, I think at the end of it is still connection that you need to know. And also that beside of connection, you must have a body of work. Because when you travel overseas, it's all about your work. Whether you're good looking or not, that's a plus and minus point, doesn't matter. The point is just that to get into the international stage, you gotta have a body of work that people can recognize and can relate to, And then Malaysia, of course, that also one director called James Lee. He actually watched me in a lot of short films that I did. He watched me a couple of times. He didn't realize that it was me. Then after that, he go to Indonesia, which my Sifu actually filmed me before. Some fight scenes, and he realized that, hey, this guy not bad. Who is this? Then when he go back to Malaysia, he said, anybody know this guy from Singapore? No. Then some of the Malaysian director actually met me in Singapore. So then he keep contact with me and get me into films like Call If You Need Me, and then The Collectors and some other film as well.
I like the performance a lot in Kill Face, actually. I was just laughing.
Thank you.
I was just laughing. You were like, you're doing that cheer. Yeah, I'm like, oh man, this is.
Yeah, that was very awkward. Yeah,
it was a great concept. But okay, but speaking of international and performance and international productions, one of your more recent ones, new release, I think you said released 2023, is Havoc, and you filmed that in the UK,
Yes,
and there you
Wales.
worked with. In Wales, okay, and you worked with Tom Hardy, you worked with Forrest Whitaker. If you had liberty to say, because I know it hasn't been released, but if you had liberty to say, what was it like working on Havoc with these casts?
Big stars. Okay, for Tom Hardy, Tom is a very nice guy. He's really chill, but he's always very busy because I keep on looking at him and he's like a machine, non-stop. I think that if I were to be in his level, I would do the same, because that he was back then he was trying to he was filming Havoc. He's one of the producer, and at the same time that he also trying to release Venom as 2 as well. So he was running up and down, back and forth. He's hardly had time for himself, I think. It was just busy. So there was one time that I visit set. It wasn't my day of shoot. I just want to go on set and see my friend, because the director is actually a close friend of mine called Gareth Evans. He did the Raid 1 and 2. So I was just visiting and then just talk and then see how the way he shoot. And then Tom was down there performing. Then I said, then it was lunchtime. I said, hey Tom, hey bro. I said, let's go for lunch. No man, I got something to do, man. I see a stack of paper right in front of him. He's just chewing away and just flipping through. He's like a non-stop machine, keep grinding, man. Yeah, it's crazy. But he's very nice to everyone. He even bring the cars, go outside and have a roller coaster. I missed that. Everybody was enjoying themselves. Yeah. So the other one of the best impression I ever have is with Mr. Forrest Whitaker. Okay, the Academy Award winner, right? When I met him, because I watched Ghost Dog, when I was young, the samurai thing about the assassins. So me and Yo Yan Yan was there. We're in the same set, okay? So finally we meet Forrest Whitaker, it's just like a little kid, shaking his head. He's really tall, right? Like Yan Yan will hold him, I will shake his hand. I don't know why I keep shaking hand, but I'm not gonna let go for now.
Man, I mean, he was in Star Wars, he's in Black Panther.
He was in everything.
I would never want to wash my hand again if I shook his hand.
I didn't. And to be honest, I didn't. For the 3 days I met him on set, it was just like, holy crap. So Yan was just hugging him. He was just smiling. Of course, he knows that, we are a fan. We are a little fan, So just like, it's just crazy, man, He was laughing, and when I keep shaking his head, he was smiling, he was laughing. He knows that we like his work, stuff like that. So while during his work, he was filming when we were there, me and Yan was there, sit down there on a stool, just look at him like it's just like a live school, really like a school, film school for us, looking at a legend at work, like a Academy Award winner at work, you don't get to see it every day, it's just one in a lifetime. Just holy crap, man. 2 of us like little boy and girl sitting down there like little kid, man, looking down there on set. It's just crazy, man. It's really good experiences. And after that, on the 3rd day, I think was the day that is a final day for Yan and Mr. Forrest Whitaker. So the camera was on me. It was my day to perform. Okay, so it's a little bit of stress. My lines was quite a big chunk. So, but then just said, screw it, let's do it good. So Forrest was supposed to be giving me the eye line, but actually Forrest whether he's there is still okay. The assistant actually called Mr. Force. Maybe you can take a break. You know what he say? He said, no, Sonny needs my eyeline, man. He's looking towards. I say, man, an Academy Award winner give a nobody this, an eyeline. You know what I mean? That's like how gracious this you can get from an Academy Award winner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I was
yeah.
just like, after I finished my performance and everything, I said, thank you, Mr. Forrest. Said, that was cool, man. That was really good performance. It was cool. I was just like, okay, thank you. So I walk over. I quickly message my wife, Mr. Forrest, Whitaker, just say I'm cool.
Added pressure.
Yeah.
Added
You're like-
pressure. I'm acting. So he's giving me the eyeline. Wow, stress. So just to understand, Havoc, did you at any point have to do any action sequences with Tom Hardy
Yes.
or Boss Whitaker? Anyone?
I can't say. I can say yes. I
Oh.
did action, but I can't say what. Yeah.
You can't say,
Cannot
well,
say
yeah,
what.
okay, but I'm just imagining. I'm just imagining, wow. But what was it like then, actually working on Havoc?
We only did one scene a day, so we just like
Oh wow.
yeah, one scene a day. That's it, and
Oh, because
everything was
they had
pretty
to-
much focused, very focused.
Because they were grouping people working in smaller groups, so you could only do one scene a day.
No. It's a usual practice. That's how the way they function.
Wow. Versus Singapore, where you do 12 pages a day.
Yeah, that's nuts, right? But yeah, and the setup is pretty detailed. It's not nothing that we cannot do. Even though we have a budget, I would actually wanted to try that because I think that you give actors or performers a room to actually really prepare themselves, and then also very focused, and it looks a bit more realistic as well. I feel very comfortable doing that. But of course, besides of the cold during the night, it's crazy. Of course, it was just
Yeah,
like
that's different
man,
thing altogether.
Oh my god! Every time I say, "Holy shit, give me my coat."
So do you
Yeah.
think Singapore will ever do that? Have its own action flick or have something like such a big production?
Actually, I wanted to. Actually, I did plan for something. Yeah. The plan for something before I retire, I want to do one. I think that we can do it because the technical aspect out of it, it's not that we lose out. We can't do exactly what they do. It's not we lose out. We have to understand that what goes on to the budgets. That's one thing for sure. Like I said, we are not far from them. That's all you can. That's all you need to understand. Because what they have, we have to. What we don't have is the budget. The other thing we don't have is the mindset. It's just that for me to go all the way out to travel overseas to do all that, to see all these things, to realize that we are not far from them. Yeah, really. We are not far from them. Giving the right budgets and the right marketing, we can do exactly the same thing as what they do. But of course, you have to understand that Asia has to grow up that mentality of how things are functioned. But I can tell you that Indonesia is coming up big and strong because right now they are doing superhero movies, and Joss Whedon actually give them the thumbs up. So right now they are doing that, and I did a lot of movie with the Indonesian. They are very, very good, and it's almost close to the Hollywood standards already. So the kind of things that what we do not have is the mindset, and the right people at the job. Okay, it's not about how pretty you can look. Of course, you can have pretty boys, pretty girls, not an issue, right? But you must have characters, and you must have a script that says that how the way we are as a nation, right? Like how Korean's gonna look like, how Indonesian's gonna look like, but you still can do genre films. The only thing that we fail to see that, we fail to see that. We feel that everything have to be proper. It's not that we're not educated. It's not that people are not overseas are not educated. Everybody is educated these days because of internet and all this. But people tends to compare. Not that our director like Sean, you are bad. No, you are not bad. The thing is just that you are not given the right time and the right amount of time to grind your script and your direction. Anybody can do that. It's the proper methods and proper budgets to do so. Okay, we don't expect big budget for now. Yes, we don't. But you must do justify of what your jobs is all about. Is it quality or quantity? Whether you are shooting a video or you're shooting a movie, whether you are shooting a TV drama or a series in Netflix. everything changes. Yeah, everything changes because I have 4 movies on Netflix. There's going to be a 5th one coming up. Okay, I did Amazon. I have Amazon stuff right now. Not that I'm very experienced, but I can tell you my kind of experience that I have. Right, like I can tell you, Yen, you probably can be one of the films. I can tell you that you can be one of the characters as well. But you just need to give a bit more time to digest. And the script writing, especially the dialogue, is not comprehension, it's dialogue. You know what I mean?
The
It's not comprehension.
oral
Yeah.
exam.
Yeah, the oral exam is like, holy crap, man, am I doing comprehension or dialogue? You know, when I read the lines of how the way they write, I was just like, oh my God, it's like butter and honey on my lips, man. It's so nice. You know what I mean? It's really perfectly dialogue. You know, just like, wow, it's so smoothing and real, you know, that it can get. It's just so nice, you know. So what's wrong? What happened there? You know, it's everything's very, oh, a point A, point B, point C. No, man, there's no such thing. You know, you can adjust your emotion. No, it's what you say, it's what you feel. It's what you feel, it's what you see on my face. It's because how you feel. That's how it is. When I read the lines, I always like, wow, this is like, it's a page flipping and flipping and flipping and never ending. 4 hours, I'll just stay down there, finish the whole thing. After you are finished up already, wow, you're not exhausted. It's just like, you start to imagine the scene on your head. You know, that's how it is. It's almost reading like a novel. You know, like 200 pages, or maybe 120 pages or 120 pages of a novel. It's so nice. But this one problem that we do not, we have to understand. And why is it different from overseas and local? You know what I mean? Why is it so different? Are we not human beings? Are we not, don't know how to write? We are all educated, yes. We watch Netflix and so on, yeah?
I think it's a bit of restrictions as well, right? For example, I think Singapore, for example, is not as flexible with something like dialogue. And then you can go to Malaysia and do something like Kill Face, and oh my, they talk about lines and dialogue. You did so much in dialect in that one, and that really worked really well. So sometimes I wonder, is it also because just that the restrictions and so on is just different? It plays a part in this as well.
No, maybe because, yeah, it plays a part big time is one thing, definitely plays a part. But you have to understand that film itself, it's a very wide range of things are happening basically on common people. Yeah, you and I, or with Yen as well, with other people as well, their lives, but turned into a genre. How come Korean can did it so nicely? It looks so authentic, you know. It looks so real because human being has different kind of stories to tell. Yeah, even their dramas, you look at them, it's not about pretty face, it's about bring out the characters and look that you can sense to relate to it. Even everything that you say, yeah, whatever you say, you can relate because it is what it is every day, what you say, how the way you say it, right? It's not about pronunciation. You have to hit this because it feels like this. No, it's not that. It's how you feel because people can sense to relate to you. You can scold bad words or whatever it is because that's what humans are like. Correct? Why do you have to go for all the lengths that you have to do this and this and this? Are you going for a test or exam? You know what I mean?
So there's a lot of moving parts. I think Sunny has just talked about. There's so many moving parts to make it work. I think also in general, we all know that stunt work, going back to stunt work, is very costly. Time work is very time consuming. There's a lot of logistics and things about. And since Sunny mentioned budget, I'm just thinking from a budget point of view, it makes sense that I hire a seasoned professional, right, over somebody who is new, right? Because I don't want to take that chance on someone new when there's so many moving parts. So especially if you're new in this stunt industry, for example, how then are you going to ever get a chance to break in?
I think the best thing is to learn from the Sifu, like from us, the senior ones. Learn from the senior ones for about good 10 years. I think that when the time comes, you're ready. Because the thing, there's never ending of things you need to learn. It's not an overnight 5 years or 2 years can get you somewhere. Okay, first you need to build up the rapport in the industry itself. Okay, people get to know you, who you are. But even though, unfortunately, in Singapore, even though people know you, they may not hire you because of the one kind of reason is all about this one. But you have to state your price. But of course, price can always negotiate, right? because that's how the way you function. Yeah. The newcomer always wanted to get pay high.
How do you price a stunt actually? It's not as straightforward as like, oh, I'm going to like stunt price a actor daily rate or
I can't give you the
cameraman daily rate.
actual. I can't give you the actual rate for sure, but you can range it from all the way from 3-digit all the way to 5-digit, depending on what you do.
Oh, it depends on the complexity of it.
Complexity of it, because if you only give somebody that like probably $50 to do a jumping down, fall down scene, would you do it? Okay, let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. Okay, let's put it this way. This is my calculation. Okay, right now, let's just say, Sean, I hire you for $100 a day. Okay, but you need to run around, help to bring pads, help to do this, help to do that. But then when it comes to fight, you need to remember fight choreography. Then after, you need to fall and hit on the table and crash through the floor on the table and then on the floor for maybe about good 5 to 7 takes. Then after that, you need to then you need to try to like prepare some other things for another scene for the whole day, and that's $100. Okay, $100. Wait, for this $100, let's do the logic side of it. Your breakfast $10. Okay, your lunch $10. Your dinner $10. Your transportation back and forth. Let's just say you don't take Grab, you take maybe MRT or whatever it is. Okay, let's round it up at $10. All you make is $60 a day. How are you going to justify that? All your blood, sweat, and tears throughout the years that you put on. Correct? We have to honor our guys. I pay my guys very handsomely because I believe in, this is our own Singaporean guy. I have to respect them because they put up all the work. I just go over there, point fingers, and probably bring them lunch, and that's it. That's all my thoughts. But without my guys, there's no me. We have to respect our guys as well. The way we function is very different. Okay? Why I say 4-digit? Why I say 5-digit? Because these guys are taking the risk for you to look good, for your project to look good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And these are our own Singaporean. And we just turned 57 years from away from other people independently, right? So we need to understand with our mindset need to grow. This is one thing that for sure that I'm proud of my own team, but because I'm able to provide them jobs opportunities from my name, so that to see this whole thing grow. Not because that, I'm arrogant about this. Nothing arrogant about it. It's a job. It's a job to keep preserving our guys that we can fight. And sorry to those people who think about fame, making more money. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. You can survive on that, but you can't be so-called super famous. This is the way things are, right? But also that we can do it in such a way that do a lot of jobs that people can see we are here to stay. We are here to do our job. And whether you're 5 years or whatever, follow somebody that will have the experiences. Okay? And properly, they also evolve as well. Not like the old ways, the way they do it. No, it's not going to work. First of all, you're going to get people get injured. Some people even get real knife blunted in front of you and they use it on screen. I nearly got stabbed before.
What?
Yeah.
They were blunting the knife in front of you to use on you later.
Yes.
Sorry.
Wait, not just that, okay? And the guy that I fought with is an actor who is not trained. Okay, you just do this and do this, and go to his stomach, he will block it. I look at the guy, huh?
He will block it.
What? You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, holy crap, man,
So this is why you know that if you go into Ronin and you say, I want to do this stunt in 3 months, and he's going to look at you and go, huh? Because it's going to take years, man. It's
gonna take years.
It's definitely a commitment.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a commitment. A lot of people, it's culture shock that it's going to take so long. Because right now it's still the instant noodle stage. What I call it instant noodles, it's just that they want fame immediately. They don't want to put up the work, but they want the name. And they want the fame. You know what I mean? So that's very, very terrible. And some things that when you see outside down there, is that the way you do fight scene? I mean that's what my Sifu said. Whatever you put out there is a representation of your work and where you come from.
Yep. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't screw it up, man.
So on that note, and of course, with your own background as a as a father of four and so on, how has all these experiences like shaped your psyche and your psychology towards life and so on?
Life is very short because I've seen death before. I heard about death on the industry in other countries. Like certain said, like the life is too short. We try to make it happier on set. I try to make it happier. I try to make it a bit more easier. And I try to prepare as much as I could because every time when any of the Ronin guys perform really dangerous or stunts, I would gather everybody to do prayers together. The thing is just that we are in this together, okay, just to make sure that we have his back, we have that person's back. That's why that's why the guys are all very committed because of the directions that was set by, of course, me, and also that because of the teaching of my Sifu as well, thanks to him, and because of the guidance of what he had taught me, and I realized that life is very short. And during back in 2014 or 15, I heard something on a foreigner set on a Chinese guy who actually won a stunt double for Jet Li, died on set in an explosion. He was turned to bits. On another set in mainland China, a guy was burned to death.
Oh man. And of course, with us, this is a newer example. The
some
stunt went
idiots
bad,
around,
and the gun went off and killed people.
And a lot of things. And recently, I have a couple of years, before the COVID, there was this fire incident, right? The fire burns because they pour kerosene. During that time, when they pour kerosene, it was a night scene. It was supposed to be about a flame suddenly ignite, burn the whole place down. And then there was all this Chinese performer was wearing the traditional costumes, period costumes, and they all made in silk. So they poured the kerosene, the whole place was dead, dry, moist as well, and there's no wind, the air was very still. So when they pour kerosene or petrol, the gas fluctuate. They turn out to be at least about 10 meters away, 10 to 15 meters away. But it fluctuate all the way down there. Nobody noticed it. When they call on 3, 2, 1, ignite, action, they ignite the fire. The fire travel all the way to the group of performers. And some of them sustained third-degree burn.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Wow.
And I was taught how to handle this kind of situation before. Because my Sifu have that experience. He always tell me, the most dangerous thing are the ones who play with fire, because fire is unpredictable, and also car as well, speed is crazy as well. So all these things are and water, especially in water, in seaside, sea. On top you might see a calm water, below you might see something else. It's a different whole new game. So all these things we cannot just joke around. So all these things we have learned before, we have taught before, we experienced before, we know. So you can see that life itself is so short. People can just die like that, and disappear. Within fraction of a second, everything is changed. Because we think we know it's about fame, it's about himself. No, it's about this being the bubble. Yeah, you look all these things, look fancy and everything, but fancy or whatever you're doing, you want to be TikTok famous. Good, go kill yourself, fine. But then again, don't hurt anybody else. But when somebody's life is being taken away, it's not something to joke. Especially the one that I told you was burned alive, the whole building collapses. It was those period time, those kind of like wuxia, the whole straw houses, okay, they burned. They were supported by a beam, but they didn't know the beam is actually hollow.
Oh,
and it's very
that's
fragile.
not good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good because there's no checks of the integrity of the structure. So they burn, they do the scene, the guy was being yanked to slam onto the straw houses, and the whole thing collapses immediately, and that guy was burned alive.
Oh dear.
Do you know how far away the fire engine was? 1 kilometer away.
Oh my goodness.
So, fortunately, you've never had to deploy your training to
Not just
defuse
training,
this
I think
situation, Sunny.
I mean, if let's just say for me, I would try to strangle every single person in production, because you don't do that. You have to prepare. You need to check. You do a lot of work, background jobs. That's why causes the money that what we've been called paid for. It's not because I want to take your money, because of like there's a lot of work. My guys know the procedure. Like Chimbun, you know Chimbun, right? So Chimbun is the special force guy. He know that. So whenever I'm not around, he will do all the checks. Everything have to be proper. No such thing that you know every single thing. Even one nail, we will see. No. There's a nail. No, you never know when you scrape. In Indonesia, I remember there was somebody actually scraped the whole skin tear.
Oh,
It was a
shucks.
small little accident. Yeah.
Ah,
God.
shucks.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you got to understand it's not something to joke with.
What is your psyche, Sunny? I mean, for you, I mean, outside of the stunt world, I mean, as Sunny Pang.
Well, for me, I can tell you that my body is getting older, but I still can move, of course. My psyche is still pretty much a normal person, but I think that when you turn 50 years old, everything slow down for like maybe 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds. I need to slow down. I need to get a bit more mature. Of course, there will always be problems. You need to know how to face it. There's always this thing about fame or not fame, but I passed that BS. Whether fame or not fame is not important. The most important, my kids get to eat, got a house to stay, can go to school. That's about it at the end. And I go back to my wife in one piece. That's for sure. Of course, sometimes the hardest part that I can say is just that when I was in Wales, right, for 4 months, my little girl, the youngest one, the 8 years old, the 7 years old, will say that one day in the middle of the night, my wife called me, said that she wanted to talk to me, and she was crying. Said, "Where are you? How come you're not home?" That breaks me a little, but then again, you got to sacrifice those time to just make the money, because that's the only way that we survive, you see. If it only can brings up the level of filming industry here, I would not need to travel. But because of you need to survive, because Singapore is very expensive, and I do my calculations, and everybody notice that, right? So the house, the bills, whatever you need to pay, the kids, my son, sometimes $20, because of school, he need to go, because he also study right now filming as well. So all these things are costs. You have to sacrifice no matter what. So you need to humble down. I mean, that sometimes, I might come across that people think that when I keep quiet, I look a bit too serious, like don't dare to approach me. But actually, I'm a very approachable person.
As you can tell from this whole episode, Sunny is actually a very friendly guy.
So I'm just imagining, because you said, okay, you started Ronin as a business because you want to take care of your family on that, but as you've also ascertained, the easier ways to make money than doing stunts, and yet you chose to run a business doing stunts. So wow, I'm thinking that's an interesting psychology.
Well, that's also to preserve the stunt community, if I can say, stunt community in Singapore, because I think that sometimes my senior take one to a few of my guys to do his show. I say, go and take it, because they are prepared, they are ready. You don't want people to not ready, but of course you need to pay the rate exactly what they need. That's all. And also insurance as well. Do you know some of the production don't cover insurance?
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised.
I thought you're supposed to now.
You are
They're not covered.
supposed to. Yeah.
I know in one shoot where we've been to, the guy have a heat stroke. You know what the producer said? Oh, the AD, I think it's the production manager said, "You go back by yourself, not covered, your insurance, you go and see doctor, your problem." I will just look at my guys and say that, what in the world is going on?
Sometimes I feel it's not just professional. It's also a human thing.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
It's an experience thing, I think, also, because I'm assuming the guy was probably freelance. He probably, quite new to the job as well, so he didn't really know what to do. I mean, I'm referring to not defending the production manager, but I think that's the nature of the industry, right? There's a lot of inexperience going around and so on.
I think it's a sense of responsibility that the production
that too, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not about just your actors or whoever. The lead actor maybe is everybody. Like for me in Wales, everybody is insured, every single one. because in the contract states every single one. So I talked to the stunt guys over there because as a stunt person myself before, so I talked to the stunt guys over there. Everybody's insured. Everything is covered. Pretty much that you need to read between the lines. And the production is not to care about you, to know where you at. Even while the actors got fall down in his own house, right? They actually called, we spoke about this. The production manager actually said, do you want the ambulance to come to you? He said, no, it's just a small little bump. No, you seriously want? It's so nice for people to take care of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's taking
just
care
a
of each
small bump.
other, lah. Yeah, yeah.
It's a
Wow.
different mindset.
Yeah.
It's a different mindset that we have. We should grown up with that. We are the first world country, but somehow along the line you discover there's certain part still a third world mind. Unfortunately, you want to talk about looking after your own Singaporean, but you're not doing so. For myself, for my side, yes, we look after our own guys because I felt that that's my responsibility. My responsibility is my guys. If we get injured, I don't feel good as well. I don't feel that's okay. It's just only. Do you know back in many years ago, I heard this one story. One guy broke a finger in Singapore. Broke a finger. Okay, this guy said that he go to the stunt coordinator. He said, I think I need to claim the insurance, right? He said, why you claim insurance? You only break a finger only what? I was
I can't
just like,
believe that there are still people
oh
in
yes,
the industry
oh
like
yes,
that.
oh
Oh my
yes,
goodness.
oh yes.
Ah.
You meaning that this guy is redundant. You don't care about him. Do you know in Samuel Hong, right? Samuel Hong, okay, his guy broke his hand. The insurance company never pay. The production house never pay his guys the insurance money. Do you know what Samuel Hong do? Go to the office, bang the table. Who is the manager? Ask him to come out right now. He nearly want to whack the guy. Back in the days,
Wow.
Imagine
Wow.
if Samuel Hall walks to your office and does that, man, you jolly well pay, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Pay.
That's why I
They
love
learned their
Samuel Hong a lot.
lesson. Yeah.
No, that's why I love Samuel Hong a lot. He's very honorable soul. Yeah, even though he's rough by his nature, he do things with his own ways, but a bit rough. But then again, he's honorable soul. He really look after you. He put on food on the table. You have to eat. You don't eat. You slap your head, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how honorable it is. That's why I always love Samuel Hong. He's my forever idol. Even though he's fat, whatever, I don't care. But his work ethics, I really loved it. Yeah. So I model after him as well.
So that's another person. It's son you meet. He will never wash his hand for 3 days.
Yeah, I did. I actually met him and took pictures with him. Yeah.
Right. So
I took picture with him.
yeah. Okay. So we talked about many things with you. When was there a moment in your career where you thought, in your long career, where you thought, yes, I made it. I definitely can make it as a stunt professional in Singapore?
I never thought about myself, I make it or we make it, because constantly that it just like my first big break in the international scene, the headshot, right? I mean that it is very surreal that when you travel with all the actors and you get out from the car, you see a long queue to buy buy tickets to see your film in Toronto International Film Festival, the world premiere. Okay, the screen was huge. It's like 2-story huge. It's 1,800 in the audience. People was watching you on such a big screen, right? I was like, holy crap, man! It's just surreal, man. Everybody cheer on and see the cheer when you're fighting. At the final fight, everybody loved it. You have no standing ovation. It doesn't matter, but just like it's just like people appreciate, right? You feel appreciated. So at the end of the day, when I go back to my hotel, I ask myself this: what's next? Is this the only thing? That's it? Because that's what also thanks to my sifu. He said, don't be too happy even though you have one success. Always remember what are you going to put onto the table the next day or the next week or the next month. So it humbles me. I never think that we are make it or this and that. I never thought about that before, because it's so stupid that you think that just because that you have a scene and just because you do that, you are big, you're yaya already, you're just like, oh, I'm this big guy now. It's cold reality that hits you go back to where you at. You always need to stay to the ground no matter what, even though you climb to the highest floor, because you need to go back to the ground. that's all. That's one thing for sure that I've always tell myself and tell the guys as well. It's a job. It pays, yes. But when you got job, it pays. When you got no job, then what's next? Are you going to struggle? What are you going to do? You're going to do this to survive? Whether you like it or not, Singapore, it's not up to the level where there's a lot of things to go around to provide the jobs, right? Or those people who really have passionate on this industry, okay? If let's just say there's ongoing, during back in the 90s, yes. But what happened now? We are so sophisticated with cameras, with this, with that. Where are the jobs, man?
Yeah, exactly.
Where are the jobs, man? Where are the action flick for us to handle, or maybe for other teams to handle? Maybe we are the same business but different company, but doesn't mean that I want him to die. No, I mean that everybody will suffer in silence. Nobody knows.
We all
Where
have
are
to
the
grow
industry?
together. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I mean, a lot of people thinks that, oh, this glam thing, that moment of clarity doesn't give you the award for a lifetime award achievement or lifetime money to begin with. No, you still constantly is a job.
So with all your experience, right, over the years, and I mean you've gone through a lot of things that I think some of us can't even imagine. Was there a time that you felt like you were really uncool? And what would you say to yourself if you could?
Yes, that's where my pants got dropped off by my friend.
Oh, I thought it was like, I thought it was when you were like selling Slurpees at 7-Eleven or something.
No. It's just that it's just a scene that where he dragged me up and the other guy would have kicked me on the stomach. But instead of dragging me, he just pulling my legs. He dragged my pants, and my pants was kind of loose. Oh.
So what would you say to yourself? Wear some underwear.
Which I did, man.
Maybe you can share with us if they want to catch Havoc, when will that be out? And also if they want to follow you and Ronin Action Group on your socials, what are your socials?
They can follow me in two places. One is SunnyPunk72, that's my own private ones, my own personal ones. The other one is Ronin Action, okay, that's where all my stunt team, all my monkeys are around. Yep. So all I can say is this though, to all the people out there who are actually thinking of doing stunts, you just gotta know what you're doing. Stunts is not for some fun. It's a kind of jobs, and it's very dangerous. It will cost you life, your limbs. You know, some people died on doing it. And do check out the person that you're working with, his data. Data meaning that the amount of work that the person has done. So it's not about just for fun. It's about, you know, if you are serious with the work. And there's no tree grow overnight. You got to take time. That's one thing that you have to take note. But thank you both for having me.
And you know it's not for the faint-hearted, and it's only do so if you're very serious. And also, speaking of serious, we seriously hope that you drop us a like, subscribe to our podcast if you haven't already. You can also get new updates on our new episodes, catch up on our old episodes, drop us a 5-star rating, just leave us a review, just support us because it's cool. Just support Sunny, just support Ronin as well because, you know, they do a lot of cool work. And of course, it's cool to be uncool.
Sunny has been nominated for Best Action Choreography at the 59th Golden Horse Awards. This is for his work for the movie Geylang. Uncool sends the heartiest congratulations to Sunny and everyone involved.
Like this show? Then rate it 5 stars and subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Uncool is a podcast by creatives at work. It is produced, written, and hosted by Sean Lee Win Cheong and co-hosted by Yenling Lo, co-produced by Raven Lim, and edited by Ray Ng. Uncool. It's cool to be uncool.
On the next episode of Uncool,
in NXT, we work 6 days a week. So we see each other every day. Triple H, he came down here every NXT show. He was a very nice person, you know. Every time when we do a team meeting, he's very motivational, you know. Yeah, we guys doing good. And
Uncool, new episodes every Saturday.